Child sexual abuse is a scourge on society, and it often takes survivors decades to come to terms with what they suffered, victim's attorney wrote in a brief. It is hard to imagine a law more rationally related to a legitimate governmental interest than this one. With that being said, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Apostate Weekly. I'm your host, James.
I'm Ryan.
And we're glad to have Ryan back this week. I know she's still a little under the weather, but
You sure?
glad you're pushing through. Just a little.
It's okay. You don't have to be happy to have me back.
We're trying to get her over the weather instead of under the weather here.
Yes, please.
So,
Thank you. Lift me up. Like
lift
Jesus.
her up. That's right. And make sure that you lift her up enough so she can be at the Be Free protest this Friday, y'all. So,
Lord Jesus, help us all. Take the wheel.
Right?
Take the wheel.
So this week we are talking about some legislation that's trying to be pursued and pushed more in Maryland on child sexual abuse, as was from that excerpt that I read from the article. We also have some more stories coming at you this morning from the new lead singer for Linkin Park and their ties to Scientology, to all the refugees that are attending the district convention in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And we have more coming your way. So stay tuned for that. And let's run that intro. All right, we are coming at you live on this fine 9/11.
Yeah, what a day. What a day.
I know, what a day. I remember exactly where I was that day all those years ago too.
Same.
You know, in working on the news for this week's show, I was thinking about it, you know, what kind of attitude, I put this up on the Facebook group. I haven't looked at the poll, but who thought Armageddon was coming when 9/11 hit?
Oh, I bet a lot of people had that thought.
Yeah.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised.
And if you didn't think Armageddon was going to happen, did it bring you back into the fold if you were out? Did it make your resolve stronger in the fold if you were still in? Or was it one of those events where you saw through the bullshit and it made you leave? I'm curious to know. Yeah. I would love to know. You know, I think a lot of our viewers here, I know my parents and myself included, we obviously didn't leave after 9/11. So, so think about that and post your what happened to you in the comments, and we're going to go ahead and get on with the other parts of the show while we're doing that, and then we'll pop back into some of those comments a little bit later. So we talked about before how Maryland wanted to extend the laws for reporting for child sexual abuse, to get rid of the statute of limitations for a couple of years. And they put the age limit at 38, which I don't know why you put it at 38. If you're going to have victims come forward, it often takes decades for them to finally come forward when they've been abused like that. But the window was open. And right before that window was to fully open, and I remember we reported on this, the Archdiocese in Maryland there filed for bankruptcy, which was a real shit move on their part. But, whatever proceeds they had would go to victims some way, but not everything they had. So it was just another one of those kick them while they're down kind of moves that the Archdiocese did. And they're trying to revisit these laws because they're either expiring or just about to expire. And they have advocates for the survivors and others, and they just want to see their day in court. They want the victims to see their day in court, to get justice. And I think they really need to carefully consider these laws and get rid of all the statutes of limitations, get rid of any age restrictions on how old you have to be till you can report it, because these things affect people for life. They don't just, it's not like you stubbed your toe on a desk and it hurts for a couple days and you're okay and you forget about it. People literally are traumatized. They deal with post-traumatic stress syndrome. On top of that, if you add in religious trauma, so you get post-traumatic religious trauma. I think that falls under the category of complex post-traumatic stress syndrome, because it's a variety of things. Now, I could be wrong. I'm no therapist. I'm no doctor, but I think that's what it falls under. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. So that's what's going on in Maryland today. I really hope that they get rid of any of these limitations on these laws. As I said, you got these advocates that are fighting for it, trying to get this legislature to get it passed. But we all know how it goes when you get churches and governments involved, and then you have the two parties of a government involved. They can never come together and agree on everything. But what do these laws that they currently have do except protect the predators, and to some extent? So, I didn't read that. I had recently left the organization, but it did not cross my mind that Armageddon. Okay, Doc. You clicked it on and turned it off real fast. But my dad said it scared the crap out of the governing body, which, yeah, because it was right across the street from where their headquarters were at the time.
I'm surprised they didn't think they were the ones who were being targeted.
I know, right?
They were supposed to hit our building.
Why didn't you hit our building?
It's definitely for us.
Now, one thing I don't know is, on that day, how many witnesses were in those towers that got killed in that. Right. I don't know that. With any kind of tragedy, like that, obviously I don't advocate for the killing of anybody, especially if it's going to bring on more of a persecution complex.
Oh, yeah. Everything, I don't know what it is about them, but everything goes towards their persecution complex. It's got it's like a warm blanket that they put on themselves at night. Oh, we just cover myself with all these things I'm persecuted with.
Now,
protection.
My mom and dad here are saying that their biggest fear for me was being drafted into a war, which luckily I didn't have to go through that. And I was concerned about that myself at that age, because I was 2021. I was 19 when that happened. Ooh, that might be yeah.
That's an interesting thought.
It is. For anybody who's listening and not watching, Jay said, I think 9/11 played a part in the Watchtower moving to Warwick. That might be. But I mean, it's when did they finally move there? Was it like 2018 or 2019 that they finally moved? It took them a while to get these plans and to finally move.
True.
So maybe it did have a part in it.
I mean, we wouldn't necessarily know.
No, we wouldn't.
They're not going to tell us.
And how big of a part did it actually play?
Right.
I mean, the property value of their Brooklyn properties was astronomical by the time they sold it. What was it, $1 or $2 billion that they made off of it? So, I mean, that right there would be motivation for anybody to sell those kinds of properties.
It might have been a great excuse for them, like, "Oh, we should try to be safer and sell this
Yeah.
property
We
and
should
just
build our
remove."
own little cult compound and wall it off and keep everybody out.
Yeah, that sounds completely normal.
Yes. So I know I remember I was actually so at that time my parents encouraged me to go to college. Bad mom and dad make encouraging me to go to college. I quit pioneering to go to college.
Wow.
Yes. And I remember because I had school that day, and where we lived in Florida, we had a lot of people from New York, especially New York City, that lived in that area. They'd either moved down there or retired down there. And I remember going to the dean of the school that day, like, are you going to let everybody go home? I mean, especially with this going on, I'm like, nobody's going to get anything out of the classes today. They're all concerned about their families and their relatives in New York.
Right.
And, you know, why should we be here today? And the dean's like, no, we're not going to let anybody go home. I'm like, you moron. Like, get with it here.
Yeah. Have some compassion.
I mean, I was a brainwashed JW and I had more compassion than this idiot.
Shocker.
I know. So, anyways, we'll keep on touching on that more as we go on. Did you want to do one of your stories?
I can do it. I can do it quickly. Um, in Florida, I'll just tell you, and I'll put the link in the chat here. So if anybody wants to take a look, but basically, Ron DeSantis, if you are somebody who's put forward any kind of petition to, let's say, uphold abortion, right? Like you want to protect women's rights for body autonomy in Florida. Ron DeSantis is taking your name, your signature off of these petitions and sending the police to your home. They are investigating people who have just signed petitions. Doesn't matter if you've had an abortion or not. You signed a petition, you could be part of the problem, and we're going to come after you. And that's what they're doing. How freaking creepy is that?
That
To frighten people like that.
that's a major infringement on your freedom of speech right there. Like he should be kicked out of his governorship for that alone. I mean, there's more reasons why he should be, but for that alone right there, you're violating your First Amendment rights.
And it's an interrogation tactic. It's an intimidation tactic.
It is.
Just sending police. Could you imagine just police arriving at your home and asking your wife, "Oh, she signed this petition. Why? Is she pregnant? We want to know if she's pregnant. Has she had an abortion?" Because down there it's like illegal beyond like certain dates, weeks, whatever. I think there's a 6-week abortion ban.
I
I'm
think
not even
it's 6
sure.
weeks in
Is it
Florida.
okay? I
Yeah.
think it's 6 weeks, and that's what a
Yeah.
lot of them are right now is 6 weeks. And if y'all know anything, if y'all have ever been a woman in your life, 6 weeks ain't shit. Some people don't even know they're pregnant in 6 weeks.
Well, I will tell all of our viewers, I have never been a woman in my life.
Okay, I guess we'll just have to take your word for that, James.
Yes, you will.
Yeah. So it just fucking pisses me off that you can't even regard, even if if I never have sex the rest of my life, just because I signed a petition, some fucking dude is going to come to my house with a big fucking hard on asking me questions because it fucking makes his dick hard. That shit is sick. It's so sick.
Are they going to do that to men as well who sign those petitions or just women?
That is a great question, and that's something that I'm not sure of. I wonder. I don't know if
Because
the article states that.
I can sign a petition just as easily as you
Yeah,
can, you know.
of
Or you're gonna
course.
come ask me if I got an abortion? Obviously, no, dickhead. you know,
Right, but they might accuse you of taking your girlfriend, your wife, or whatever, your partner.
and like if it's within their laws and rules, right, that you did it. Say you could catch it before 6 weeks, and you did it within that. At this point, there's nothing they can do,
I'm just
you know.
disappointed and
But
frustrated.
it is that sounds like Gestapo starting up right
Yeah.
there,
Oh, and
you
your mo
know.
and for your mom, first, I apologize that you had to go through a miscarriage, but I've never had to go through that, but I know from women how difficult that time period is, and then on top of that, imagine if you're being investigated just
Mm,
simply because you signed a petition, but you happen to be going through, a miscarriage.
yeah.
A loss, like, a lot of people consider that a loss. They were preparing themselves to have a baby, but for whatever reason, sometimes shit don't go right, and you can't control that, and you might have to get rid of the baby to protect your life, and so you can live and take care of your own kids. But now you'll be considered a criminal, and maybe you did that on purpose. Like, I could not imagine wives and girlfriends and moms being taken to jail because they've went through a miscarriage.
Did you see the video that I think the Harris campaign made as where it had this cop that pulled over this man and his daughter, and he knew everything about them, and he was taking her across state lines to get an abortion, and
Okay.
he he knew, he was asking her. It was obviously a made up scenario, but it's the scenario that I think the Republicans want to see, where he was asking her about when her last period was, and was going to get him for crossing state lines, you know, for to go get an abortion, even though it was legal in another state, but it was illegal in that state to cross state lines to go get one. You know, that's
Wow.
what they're trying to make it become.
Right. They I mean, you guys, you have to consider this. They're changing so many laws to make it easier for police to just pull you over and interrogate you for whatever reason. And I don't I just don't like that. I don't need police just pulling me. Go fucking find the rapist, bro. Go get the
Yeah,
rapist convicted. Go get the murderers convicted. Leave me and my fucking family alone. It's not your business. It's not your problem. You're fucking sick. Like, I'm
hmm,
sorry, dude. Like, a cab all day, because that is the problem. If you are a police officer, you have to follow laws that are not moral, has nothing to do with morality. They're not good people. They're just people upholding piece of shit laws from some fucking white dude. Suck a dick, ACAB. I'm so not sorry about that. As long as you uphold fucking shit laws, it's going to be ACAB all day. I don't give
yep,
a fuck. And I have cops that are friends that I know. I don't care.
yeah.
I do not. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to come arrest me for some bullshit about my body, you're a piece of shit. And I do not give a fuck about you.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Yep.
that's my story.
Well, we seem to have ignited your fire this morning.
You got my throat.
Yeah.
I'm just projectile vomiting on everybody right now. But to Jay, I just want to say, like, that. Oh, what I could say to add on to this is that there have been several women who have ruptured their fallopian tubes, which means they will never be able to get pregnant from that fallopian tube. They have cut their egg production fucking down because they were not allowed to get an abortion. And a lot of these women went septic and almost died in the hospital. And the hospital could not could not do anything for them because of the laws.
Yeah.
That breaks my heart. Imagine wanting to have kids, a big family, and then, unfortunately, your body has a ectopic pregnancy or, a pregnancy in the tube, and then they just say, "Well, sorry, ma'am, we're gonna have to let that baby grow and destroy your tube and take away
Yeah.
your chances at ever having a baby."
And
And
possibly risk your life in the process when we could have easily saved you so
yeah,
you could have had another chance to have a baby.
right, because they want to have kids.
Exactly.
I
It's
don't
so backwards.
it is so backwards. There are people who truly like, this is just for health reasons. It's not to, "Oh, I fucked some dude and now I got pregnant and I need to have an abortion." It's
Yeah.
like life or death for them, and the Republican Party is like, "Meh, too bad, so sad."
And one other thing I will say is there is no state in this country where post-birth abortions happen.
Like,
Come on.
come on, bro.
And refugees are not eating your animals.
Like, the shit that they just put in their head, they concoct.
I know.
And
So, well, speaking of
sorry.
refugees, I'm going to go ahead and move on to our next story here.
Okay.
So, there was a bunch of refugees that have gone to the Democratic Republic of Congo, and they and I'm talking the Jehovah's Witnesses here because they had a large convention in Kenya, and they said there was more than 50,000 people throughout the weekend. That's a pretty damn big convention to have for one weekend. And but the part that I thought was interesting on this is we always know how the Jehovah's Witness organization loves to talk about how they're always growing. We're growing. We're always growing, right? So, just before I spoil it here, if you went to an average convention, how many people out of, like, say, a 5,000, 10,000 person convention do you remember getting baptized at said convention?
I think there would at least be, like, I'm trying to think of the smaller conventions, like, that I would go to, and I feel like there would at least be, like, 30.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say that. I'd probably say anywhere between the 20s all the way up to, like, the big ones where you'd maybe see 50, 60.
Yeah,
And I'm talking
that
at
would be my
max
average.
10,000 people in this convention,
Yeah,
right? 50,000 people throughout the weekend. 50,000 people.
okay. How many got baptized?
12 were baptized.
Oh, ouch,
12.
ouch. That's not even good for a smaller convention.
No, I mean, I saw that many at least at a assemblies, circuit assemblies,
Yeah,
special
that's
day assemblies.
that's what I was kinda using as a gauge, but,
12 people. I
wow.
just thought I saw that and I just thought it was hilarious because you get that many people and you only got 12 to get baptized.
You know, Jehovah's Witnesses, did they mention in this article that the DRC is suffering through a genocide?
I don't
Probably
think
not.
so.
Probably not, y'all. The DRC is suffering one of they're calling it a silent genocide because millions of people have died. Millions of people are facing death because they are displaced. Millions of people are displaced and they have no running water. They don't have food. They're living in makeshift tents. And why is this? This is because armed militia from other countries like Uganda are being paid by whom? Our government. Our government is sending money and weapons to other people, other countries in Africa because they want to steal the resources. They want the coltan, they want the rubber, they want the cobalt, they want the ivory, they want everything, all the resources from the Democratic Republic of Congo. And of course, the Jehovah's Witnesses don't mention one fucking iota of that, of what they are suffering.
Not
Why?
one bit.
Because then they probably have to fork over some money to help their people, but they don't give a fuck.
And let me mention something else about this story too. Look at the picture. Look at all those happy, smiling faces. You don't see any?
Wait, can
Oh,
you
what a
make
shocker.
that a little bit bigger? Please make that just a little bit bigger.
Let me try.
Because that woman in the red just looked like she's rolling her eyes really hard. She looks like she's just got
Where did it go?
her eyes
Yeah,
in the
right
back.
there.
Yeah, she
That
just
better.
looks
She looks like she's looking at the speaker going, please give me a break, son.
she's like, "Why am I here?"
I mean, the lady next to her in the blue don't look any better.
She doesn't, and the guy behind her,
I know.
he's like, "What the fuck are these bitches talking about?"
And then this lady with the yellow and gold back here, she looks like she's
Is she
asleep.
asleep? She the woman in the gray next to her might be asleep too.
I
Shoot.
know.
But yeah, that's what pisses me off is they won't even speak on what's truly happening to the people in this country. They're just going to talk about the churches that they built.
And there's your baptismal candidates right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The 12th one must be in the pool from this picture.
And I don't know if I told you this before, but what I was told by one of my friends from Africa, and he's actually ex-JW too. He's pretty popular on YouTube. I mean, excuse me, TikTok. But he told me just because the way that people are raised there, that if you come to them to talk about Jesus, that they, out of respect, have to listen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a respect thing. So even if they're not really interested, they have to lift him, which to me plays into why they eventually would get worn down and start to agree and start to listen
What's 80?
to, like another Christian type religion that is coming to them and preaching to them. So half these people probably were never even interested to hear anything about the good news of God's kingdom, but listened out of respect. But, over time, if this is all you're hearing, it might sound like it's a good deal. But in reality, this is what you're getting. No, it's not good.
So yeah, I thought that was a funny little
Yes,
story right there.
I'm glad you brought that up.
All the shiny, happy people.
Yeah, yeah. It's a shame. It makes me sick.
All right. Moving along. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about today?
I mean, there's always a million things I could say, but I think that's good for now.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna bring up my next story, and then I'm gonna save the protest stuff for last here. So, for those of you who are modern music fans, I know my people like my parents won't really know who this is, but there was this famous group that I've listened to for a long time called Linkin Park. And in, I want to say 2017 or 2018, the lead singer Chester Bennington passed away. He had a lot of issues, but you could tell what kind of issues he had in his music. It was just very passionate, very powerful music. And so this group has been without a lead singer for a while now, really.
Yeah, several years.
And replacing a lead singer is not an easy thing to do. I
No.
mean, you have to have somebody who can sing all of your other original songs well, and then bring their flair in for new songs that you might want to produce for the future. So there's a very tough job in finding a new lead singer. So Linkin Park, they found this lead singer. Her name is Emily Armstrong. Okay. Who is Emily Armstrong? Well, according to Lamgo, Armstrong, formerly of the band Dead Sarah, faced backlash after news surfaced that she had attended one of Masterson's court hearings in 2020. Now, Masterson, aka Danny Masterson from Scientology, if you recall last year when we had Chris Shelton on the show and we were covering the Danny Masterson trial because he was raping women and Scientology was helping him keep it under wraps. That's who Danny Masterson is for all of those of you who might have forgotten. He was a piece of shit. Well, this lady here was a Masterson supporter. And coupled with her affiliation with Scientology, of course, a lot of people are saying, hey, wait a minute. Why the hell are you getting this lady here to be the lead singer for this group, especially when there's this group that has been known to speak out against human trafficking and all sorts of things like this. But
Right.
yet you're part of the problem when you're supporting a guy who was part of these bad issues of raping women and everything.
Yeah.
Why are you using this voice? I don't care how good it is to be the lead singer of this group when you got that kind of history plastered behind your name.
This is not gonna last, y'all. People are so pissed. I'm pissed off because did you read what Chester's son wrote? I forget his name. It starts with a J. Jamie? I think it's
Um,
Jamie Bedingfield.
uh-huh.
But he basically was like, "No way in hell would my dad be okay with this." And he was even saying that the band, like, normally talks to things like this, about his father with him,
Mm-hmm.
didn't even, like, broach the subject with him, and this had been in the works for a long time, and she actually signed the petition, didn't she? I thought she
Uh,
was one of the ones who actually put her name on that petition, like, homie did from, the '70s show.
yeah, so Armstrong had attended one of Masterson's court hearings as a show of support for someone she considered a friend at the time. So yeah.
So, yeah, regardless, even if she didn't sign the petition, she was definitely in court showing that she believed that Masterson was innocent, and he's
Mm-hmm.
been convicted, and he's going away for a while. So,
Yes.
she was wrong. She's a liar. She sides with pedos and abusers, and now she's the face of a group who is utterly against that kind of behavior. Like,
Yeah.
we don't even know that could be really what pushed Chester over the edge is all the, like, because I think he was even investigating, like, all the behind the scenes, like, schmexual abuse that happens in Hollywood. Like, we don't even know that might have been what pushed him over the edge is just knowing about how horrible Hollywood is and feeling like he was standing alone against all these criminals.
Yeah. I'm trying to find. Just read something. I was trying to find.
And
Uh,
their music is so restorative. It's about justice,
yes, it is. Oh,
right?
here it is, right here. According to Carnell Bixler Bennington, a survivor of child sexual abuse was deeply committed to fighting human and child trafficking, values that seem to clash with Armstrong's alleged connections to Scientology.
Yes.
So,
A staunch someone who is staunchly against allowing that kind of behavior to fester. And then you got
yes.
some woman who's like, "Oh,
I can
do."
side with a guy who does this
Yeah,
kind of stuff. It's okay.
right.
And,
I mean, he's
and
famous.
especially when you have the church that backs that up as well, it just
Right.
complicates that issue even more so.
The church is protecting this
Yes.
imbecile.
Yes.
And now, so I mean, you just can't. You can't separate these people from that church because everything that they do, it's very calculated, right? All the moves that they make are very calculated for the audience, for people who are watching what's happening in Hollywood. This is intent. Man,
Yeah.
this is meant to make Scientology look good, regardless of what people think. She is a
Yeah.
face of Scientology. So, like, oh, Scientology's now in Linkin Park. Like, nah, bitch. And her voice is okay. I listen to it. I honestly think it's so cool that they chose a woman. I would be over the effing moon. Somebody told me, I don't know if it's true, but the girl from Evanescence was actually wanting to be in the group. Could you imagine if we would have had
Oh
her?
my
Is
God,
that
that would be
Amy? Is her name Amy?
Amy Lee.
Dude, Amy
I
Lee would have
love her.
fucking, oh my, she would have, the world would have melted if she would have sung a Linkin Park song.
No kidding. She would have been fucking perfect.
Right?
Like,
Like you had this opportunity and you took the rotten apple.
she has like that horror opera rock voice that,
Oh, can you say it
yeah, oh, I just
tonight?
love her. She's just that would have been a much
Her
better
voice is
choice.
haunting. Her voice, I'm getting chills just thinking of her voice, and it is so haunting. It just doesn't go away. And it kind of reminds me of Chester's voice. Like it's just
Yeah.
synonymous with justice and doing the right thing and fighting back. And now you got this cunt.
And while she had her issues with her band, she was never on the side of this CSA
Right.
shit
Right.
that
And
Armstrong is.
everybody has issues with their band. I'm sure Chester and them dudes
Oh
fought
yeah.
sometimes too. Like,
Absolutely.
that's normal. That's normal shit. But this girl, I kind of feel like the fans are gonna destroy her. Her
I say we
voice
should
is
start a
okay. It's not really the voice issue. Like it's not great. It's okay. It's just that she's a horrible person.
well, we should start a twofold petition. One, to get Armstrong kicked out, and two, to get Amy Lee put in.
Oh my God. That would be like a match made in heaven.
Oh, could you imagine a fusion of Linkin Park and Evanescence?
Now I want to hear. Now I need to
Oh,
hear it. Now I
so
now
we need
ooh,
to go on one of those TikTok channels where they do like, what
the
if
mashup.
so and so sang it in the style of this, right? And
Yeah.
then they do it.
Yes.
That right there.
I bet honestly, I guarantee you somebody's going to do it because now that it's in the ether, it has
Yes.
to come to fruition. Somebody's going to do it. So I'll keep my ears peeled, and if I hear it, I'll make sure I play it for y'all.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to our last story because we are getting late in the show here. So there is this lady. I'm not entirely sure of where she's from. Oh, here it is. It's in Wisconsin, a small town in Wisconsin, Melvin, Wisconsin. That's where it's at. She is an ex-Jehovah Witness, and she wanted to get the attention of her family and her former associates in the cult. And why isn't it showing it? The StreamYard's not cooperating with me right now. There it is. It wasn't up there before to share the screen. So what does she do? She makes a billboard. So she put this billboard up in her small town of about, I think it says about 2,000 people. And she's class of 96, it says, and then read what it says. I lost my family to religiously mandated shunning, stopmandatedshunning.org.
This is epic.
This is freaking fantastic.
She said, "Hi, mom and dad. Remember me?"
Yeah. And could you imagine being her parent driving by that billboard?
I
Like,
hope you feel dumb. I hope you
yeah,
feel really fucking stupid that a religion tore you apart from your blood family.
yes.
Honestly.
And it's just awesome how she put it up there to let her voice be heard. Now, I haven't seen it yet, but she did do an interview on the JT and Lady C channel recently. So
Okay.
I'm definitely going to check that out. And for those of you who haven't, go check that out as well. JT
Yeah.
and Lady C usually do great interviews.
Oh,
So,
they're so good.
but I also wanted to use this as a segue to remind y'all, Be Free 2024 protest in DC this Friday in front of the White House from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Be there and you can meet the hosts of Apostate Weekly, at least half of them, if one of them's not too sick.
I hope I'll be fine. I mean, I can just wear a mask, but I don't want to be sick away from home either.
Right. But I will be there for sure. Hopefully Ryan can be there as well. And I know some other people in our audience are going to go. Spread the word for the protest this Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in front of the White House, Washington, D.C. So
Exciting.
looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. I am looking forward to it. It's really exciting.
Yes. And not only to be able to meet a lot of my fellow XJWs in person, but also to help be part of the protest and get the word out and hopefully get some action started on this in this country.
Yeah. I do really feel like if we stick together and help each other with any of these, legal matters, whether it's petitions or calling governors or representatives, whatever, I think if we can focus, like laser focus our attention as witnesses who want better for current, Jehovah's Witnesses, right? Because we know we can't force them to leave, but we'd like for them to have a better life and a little more freedom, then we should absolutely do that. And I think we can do that.
I feel if we stick together, we'll just get sweaty too.
Yeah, hey, let's sweat together. Let's sweat.
Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. We're just going all over the place with music today.
That's right.
But that is all I got for today. So, is there anything else you wanted to mention?
No, just I love you guys. I'm very thankful that you're all here. We appreciate you watching. Yeah, I just enjoy these mornings. I enjoy being here with you guys and just having conversations. And even if we disagree or we kind of agree, it doesn't matter. We seem to get along and we're able to, I don't know, have a better understanding of each other. And I appreciate that. And thank you guys for participating.
Yeah, definitely. And I thought today's conversation was really good because with the interaction we had today was excellent. So thank you guys for that. Also, I just dropped the link to our Discord in the chat. So if you haven't joined our Discord yet, come over and join us over there so you can keep the conversations rolling. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you all next week. And hopefully I'll see some of you this Friday at the protest.
Yes, if you see us, you better come up to us and give us a big
Yes.
old squeeze. Squeeze me.
Please,
Squeeze me.
please.
Love me.
Please come up if you know, because I know sometimes I get distracted by looking at stuff or talking to somebody. Just come up and grab my attention. It's okay.
Yeah.
You will not be bothering me if you come up and say hello.
Wouldn't that be so funny if we turned around? We're like, what do you want?
Who the hell are you?
Probably scare somebody. So they're like, okay, I'm never coming to
it. Right?
XJW thing again.
Be somebody who never jumps in the chat. Like, I just wanted to say hi.
We're horrible.
I won't do that. I promise. I won't do that.
Promise not to do that. Even if it would be funny.
Yes. All right, everybody. We love y'all. Have a great week. And we'll either see you Friday or next week on the show. Take it easy.
Love you guys. Apostate your way. Free Palestine. Free Congo.